Well, if you think of it, there's been a shift in the way that technology changes the way we live and the way we work. So there's definitely a change in the behavior of the people at home and at the office. What hasn't changed, definitely not in the same sort of frequency, is how the organization is structured and what are the processes and the operations of it. So if you take the analogy of software over hardware, so in software the technology with the people have advanced much further, whereas the hardware, which is the organization, is still pretty much in the 70s. And that's where you have some sort of tension. And it's up to HR, to bring organizations, which are basically a human phenomena, built by people for people, to take it and bring it on par with where technology and the way people work and live are nowadays. On a scale, there are ones who are more tech savvy and are understanding that digital in itself doesn't mean just technology. It needs a good balance between technology and, I guess, humanity in order to take full advantage and materialize on the technology. But some organizations are just starting out. So some of them are lagging, some of them are taking time. But I guess we're seeing innovations coming from different directions, different aspects of that. From HR, from different processes. Netflix has been a big innovator in HR processes as well. So it's a matter of time, it's an evolution, and it's going to change and mature as the years go by. The simplest answer is technology is only as good as the people implementing, adopting, and using it. So technology in itself cannot solve the problems. It's the people leveraging the technology that can solve the problems. So despite the fact that I'm from Google and I've worked in technology companies for most of my life, technology is still an enabler. A massive enabler, can take a lot of automation, a lot of the admin stuff away, but we're still very much dependent on the human ingenuity and the soft touches that we have. The frequency of change, of innovation, of new stuff that's hitting the market is much more frequent than we've ever used to. And that's why one of the reasons that we're talking about agile technology, in order to manage sort of that risk. So the ability to learn, to change course, to move from one area to another is the most important skill set that HR recruitment firms would need to have in their organization. Because what an organization does today may not be the same thing that it does in a few years' time. So the ability to take that workforce, adapt it to a new way of working, a new function, a new business model is crucial. And you could hear that from a lot of startups saying that if they get, that's why also potential is more important, because again, going back to the startup example, the ability to have a diverse workforce who is able to adapt gives you optionality. Whereas if you can have someone with a certain set of experience that has done something for their entire life, gives you someone who can hit the ground running, but when the shift would require them to change and they don't have that flexible mindset or adaptability, then you're pretty much stuck. Everywhere. I mean, the way that I've finished the talk is basically the challenges we're seeing right now with digital transformation, again, are not just technical, are also very much human. And as I said before, the organization is still very much a human phenomenon, built by humans for humans. So who better than human resources to actually lead the way forward? So all those elements of agile, of digital, of change, of lean, they should be, HR should be expert on them and lead the organization into adopting them, as opposed to being just a business partner following the organization. So moving from a follower to a leader, that's where I see the biggest potential for HR nowadays. So I would say just to move to the front line of the organization. Not be an adjacent department, but know your business as well as anyone in the organization. Know the data, know the people, know the types of people, know who the dissidents are, the bureaucrats are, who has the potential to be a manager and who shouldn't be a manager. Know all those elements and be able to have a seat at the table and not only advise, but also decide.